This Downtown Sports Rant is being brought to you ad-free by Digital Market Battles, the marketing agency that will help your business fill their pipeline with high-valued leads. They will meet your conversion goals no matter what. Just go to digitalmarketbattles.com. Get your discovery call done today. Now, using AI. Jonathan Perriente, the Beast of the East, here with you. And finally, after 27 long years, finally, the Knicks are back in the NBA Finals. Took years in the making. I barely was 9 years old when the Knicks made their last appearance in a final. Over the years, many of us Knicks fans had to watch years of mediocrity, years of torture. Knicks had to go through so many head coaches and so many different players over the years, and David Fisdale, Hornacek, Woodson, who was who was pretty successful. I'll give Woodson credit, but short-lived. Isaiah Thomas, Herb Williams, some of the players the Knicks had back in the day. What Ron Baker, Marbury, Ariza, Trier, Moutier. I can go through a whole list of some of the old Knick guard that was here during their bad years. Finally, the Knicks decided to turn that around. Began in the 2020-21 season. Knicks bring in Leon Rose. They already had Scott Perry. He was doing a pretty solid job. You bring in Leon Rose, who had a knack for discovering good talent. And he starts to build something. You bring in an old coach from the good old days that was part of the successful Knick runs in the past in Tom Thibodeau. Now, Thibodeau you knew was a guy that will utilize the best of his players. He will utilize and work with what he has and could build something with that. Knicks bring in Julius Randle. They had drafted R.J. Barrett. So the Knicks had something here. Of course, also the Knicks drafted a few years back Mitchell Robinson. Mitch was here from the very beginning through the bad Knick years. All right. Knicks put together a decent year, 41-31 under Tibbs that first year. They get to the playoffs. Cool. Knicks fans were excited about that. But then you wanted to keep that going. Okay, then the Knicks kept that going. So Thibodeau laid the groundwork for what would begin the Knicks' regular appearances in the playoffs and really bringing the Knicks back to a state of relevancy again. Thibodeau served as an assistant under Jeff Van Gundy. He turned the Bulls around for a period of time with Derrick Rose. And yeah, he eventually brought Derrick Rose to the Knicks also, which also was a big key for the Knicks turnaround as well. You got whatever you could out of Tibbs. He did a lot of good things here. I know everybody's going to question, well, why did the Knicks fire him? What you saw with the Knicks last night and why they got to the finals is exactly why, unfortunately, Tibbs was let go. He didn't utilize enough of what he had. He didn't use his bench. He ran his players out there until they broke down. Yes, got him to the playoffs regularly, but you run players into the ground, you tire them out after a long regular season, it will catch up. Now, the Knicks got better and better under him as the years went on before he got let go. The Knicks finally began to get the right players to turn this into a playoff team, to turn this into a team that could make a deep run. Eventually, Randle was let go. He was traded. Eventually, along came a savior in Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson was one of the key reasons why the Knicks completely turned their fortunes around. No longer being a laughingstock, no longer being a team that felt like it didn't belong. Jalen Brunson transformed this Knick team from a middle of the road pack playoff team to now one of the upper elites in the NBA. It's really incredible to see the turnaround that has happened here. And once Jalen Brunson was here, you started seeing the other pieces follow. Along came Josh Hart. Good friend of Jalen's, went to Villanova. Along came Dante DiVincenzo, another Villanova product. Along came Mikal Bridges, another Villanova. Knicks were building a little team with the Villanova Wildcats here. And it worked. It worked for a while. But the Knicks needed a little more than that. Eventually, DiVincenzo and Julius Randle got traded. Everybody was killing the Knicks for doing that trade to get Karl Anthony Towns. Everybody was going crazy. How could the Knicks get rid of this combination that was working? It took time for Karl Anthony Towns to buy in. Didn't happen in one night. Even Thibodeau couldn't bring out the best in Karl Anthony Towns. And you wondered if he couldn't do it, then who could? Well, along came Mike Brown. Everybody thought Mike Brown was not the answer. People were killing the Knicks for bringing Mike Brown in. They thought, oh, how could you get rid of Tibbs? Mike Brown's terrible. He's not good. He couldn't get the Kings anywhere. He was not good with Cleveland. He only got there because of LeBron and blah blah. He was an assistant coach with Golden State. Yeah, he won a ring, but he wasn't a head coach. But Mike Brown was able to utilize his own system, and unlike Tibbs, he utilized his bench. He put faith in his bench. He put faith in his guys. And he was a guy that if he saw something was working, he doesn't change it. He keeps it going. If a guy's going out there, he's knocking down shots, he's clearly the hot hand, he stays with it. That's what frustrated Knick fans with Tibbs. I love Tibbs. And I credit him for turning this Knick team around because he started this turnaround and the Knicks would not be in the position they are without Tibbs. He deserves that, as does Julius Randle. They laid the groundwork for what this Knick team would become. And you have now watched this Knick team excel beyond where they ever thought they would go. They went to a level I think no Knick fan thought they would get to. The way they've been blowing teams away through these playoffs has been astonishing. Some will complain, well, Knicks had a crap schedule. Knicks had a cake schedule. In the playoffs, you don't get a cake schedule. You simply have to play who's in front of you. And you got to take care of your business. And the Knicks have done that. The Knicks have done that in convincing fashion. There was a time the Knicks were criticized they couldn't put opponents away. Knicks were criticized for dragging series on too long. Maybe the Atlanta series was started that narrative again because, Knicks played with their food a little bit in the first couple games. But after game 3, the Knicks completely took off and were a different team. And they haven't lost since. And they've been winning games in ridiculous fashion. Winning by over 20 plus points. And you've seen the way this team is playing. Everybody's locked in. The ball's moving around. Karl Anthony Towns being a facilitator instead of having to be the top scorer has finally unlocked the potential that Cat really brings to a team that maybe everybody else didn't think he could do. You're now seeing Cat play more defense than he used to. He's not drawing the same fouls not getting called for the same fouls he used to. You see all the other Knicks buying in as well. Everybody has this belief in one another now that maybe wasn't there a few years ago. And Mike Brown has made that all happen. Jalen Brunson serving as the catalyst to turn this team around. You're bringing in the Villanova kids. You bring in some good pieces to help the bench out. So Landry Shamet was a guy a lot of people didn't think was going to be a factor. And here he is. He was on the Suns, remember, during that NBA Finals run they were on, along with Bridges. But even they were not able to really play to the potential that maybe people thought until they came to the Knicks. Deuce McBride, Jose Alvarado. Every one of these players have brought something different that has allowed this Knicks team to be in the position they are now. Now, it's amazing the Knicks have finally gotten here. Past couple years, they were right there, just came a little bit short. Got to the conference finals, but weren't able to get over the hump. Last year, Indiana, the last 2 years, Indiana stood in the Knicks' way. They're not here now. It's a long time coming. But the job is not done. Now the Knicks need to win the NBA title. They won the NBA Cup this year. They won the conference. They became conference champions this year, which was a big accomplishment. Now the NBA title awaits. And who the Knicks will play next round? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. So now the Knicks get a week to rest. They get to kick back a little bit. And they will learn within a matter of days who will they play in the finals, Thunder or the Spurs. Many would like to think, yeah, the Spurs would be a better matchup, and maybe they're not wrong. The Knicks proved they could hang with the Spurs. They have beaten them. They understand how they play. And it'd be kind of ironic. It'd be a rematch of the 1999 finals when the Knicks played the Spurs in the finals and ended up losing. Kind of fitting a rematch if the Knicks could be finally able to get over that hump and defeat the Spurs again. Popovich is still here. Who knows? But then you might want to play the Thunder. I know the Knicks would definitely love to get a crack at the Thunder. Knicks haven't beaten the Thunder in 4 years. The Thunder are a very deep team. We've seen it. They didn't win the NBA title last year for nothing. SGA, Hartenstein will be back playing his old team. And it wasn't the Knicks' fault that they couldn't re-sign him. The Knicks threw the money they could at him, but they were capped at a limit of how much they could spend on him. And then the Thunder ended up taking him. That's how the breaks work. So now, if the Knicks play the Thunder, you're going to have to play perfect basketball to beat them. You can't have any lapses. You can't have any bad turnovers at a wrong time because the Thunder will take advantage of that. You know SGA is going to go to the line a lot. He draws fouls regularly, and he tries to bait you into getting into foul trouble. He will do it. Chad Holmgren's a nightmare you're going to have to deal with because he's 7 feet. He can be a rough matchup for many of the Knicks on the post. So the Knicks have to be ready for everything that either the Thunder could bring or what the Spurs could bring. If you play the Spurs, you're dealing with Wembanyama. That's a matchup nightmare. Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox. It's a young Spurs team, but they're a very disciplined team. They've shown it. They're a resilient team, a good defensive team. Both of these two are two of the top defensive teams in the league. So if you're going to beat them, not only do you have to hang with them, you have to play very crisp, clean basketball and don't give them a reason to feel they can build a comeback. you have to play relatively close to perfect, particularly if you're facing OKC. So we're going to find out very soon, Knicks fans. We're going to find out who awaits the Knicks in the NBA Finals. Right now, the Knicks celebrate this day. Everybody in New York was celebrating. Even when I was coming home late from work, I saw the Knicks fans. You saw Radio City Music Hall and how packed it was. The Knicks fans have been with this team through thick and thin from day one, and they've traveled everywhere. You've seen them in Cleveland. You've seen them in Philly. You've seen them in Atlanta. They've been with this team every step of the way. And you've heard and you see now the Knicks have the entire nation behind them. They want to see history. They want this Knicks team to finally take it home. And then the real nice cherry on top at the end of it, you saw the old Knicks be present at every game, even awarding the Knicks the Eastern Conference title, the Larry Bird Trophy. I mean, that was a pretty nice feel good moment seeing Jalen Brunson win the series MVP, and you see Patrick Ewing and Clyde Frazier presenting it to him. These were Knicks that have been here in the glory years. Clyde Frazier was on the 73 Knick team that won the title last time. Patrick Ewing, you felt like he should have won a title. If the Knicks had surrounded him with talent, he would have won easily. The 94 finals were and then the 94 and 99 was as close as the Knicks got with Ewing to winning a title. Injuries did play a role, unfortunately. But man, it was good to see those guys back. And you know the Knicks want to win a title for them. I would expect all the old Knicks will be there every step of the way for the finals. You definitely saw Marbury, Latrell Sprewell, Camby, Starks, Houston. I could go on with that list forever. I'm sure the rest of the 73 squad that's still here will be there too. I would expect Bill Bradley to be there. I would expect Earl the Pearl Monroe to be there. I would expect Phil Jackson to be there. We could be witnessing one of the greatest moments in history if the Knicks win the title beginning June 3rd. Knicks, this is your time. This is your opportunity. Now go out there and take it. You can listen and watch Downtown Sports. We're on 24 different platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on Spotify for creators. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Bullhorn, Podbay, Listen Notes, Podcast Addict, Verbal, Castro.fm, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, Podvine, Podyssey, Odyssey, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, TuneIn, and on YouTube. Episodes, rants, digital market battles, specials every week. We are Downtown Sports, and we are where sports come home. Jonathan Pariente, the Beast of the East, saying goodbye and good day.